loves, welcome back to the channel. I know you've never seen me look this way before, but like you, I am a mini splendid thing. There are so many different chapters to us. We are quite the tome of a book. I hope you're doing well, and I am so glad to be here to share this story time with you. In this video, I'm sharing my journey to the hijab. Now, I have always and forever loved the beauty of women and everything that makes us splendid. From our minds to our way of being in the world, our personalities, the way we present ourselves, the way we love ourselves and our families and our loved ones, our beloved, our lovers. Everything about being a woman, and a woman who loves being a woman, and a woman who loves the presence of other women in her life and in the world. It is so natural for me to admit that I have always loved studying women. Women not only in my everyday milieu, but women from across the globe. Women that I've seen in videos, in movies. Women that I see across the street. I used to live in a part of Georgia where I was surrounded by African, Arab, and Indian women. I would say there was a preponderance more for African women. So in observing these women and speaking with them here and there as I went out to shop and go about my daily life, walk, I would observe them and study them and see just how beautiful they were with the way they dressed, with the way they did their hair, the way they moved, the music of their bodies, their flow, their ebb and flow in their world, in the world we shared. And I was always mesmerized. Not only did I just simply observe them, I was always interested in communicating with them and talking with them, seeing if I could get to know them as friends and bring them closer to me. Now, in living in this part of Georgia, in Clarkston, I was able to see and feel these women. And I would see them with coverings and scarves and head wraps. They would be simply birds of paradise. They were so beautiful. And I would go about my business. I was teaching. I would come out of class and just see them and look at them and just marvel how they presented themselves in the gentle way they seemed to flow out into the everyday. Gradually, I found myself doing more than just observing them. I found myself learning how to take a long head wrap and wrap it in different ways to emulate the sisters that I saw from Africa and other places. I found myself flowing more and more towards the hijab because many of them were covered. But they weren't covered in the way that the media showed Saudi Arabian women covered, as far as the hijabs with only the eyes showing, nothing else, and a dark blanket of a abaya draped over their bodies, and they seemed to be just floating, floating heavy drapes as you saw them in the media, on the news, in magazines. And as I saw some of them in Clarkston's area, they would simply be dark, anonymous, mysterious, quiet entities and souls draped in these dark coverings. I saw and observed them as well. But the ones who seemed to have claimed themselves as far as the way they presented and the colorful, beautiful way they presented, those are the ones who left me in awe. My point is, I was drawn more to the ones who were wrapped in beautiful, alluring ways. And then I began to go to school to teach in flowing garments, in skirts wrapped in a certain way. I would go in saris. I loved the way Indian women drape themselves in saris. To me, the sari was the most beautiful way to present yourself in garb. So I purchased 6 or 7 saris, and I went to YouTube. I came here to YouTube, and I learned how to wrap a sari. It took me a while, but I did it. I studied so many ways to wrap a sari, and I noticed that, and I learned that in various parts of India, women wrap themselves in saris in different ways. I also saw American women, African American women, white women, different women wrapping the sari and teaching how to drape oneself in the sari here on YouTube. So I had a plethora of different women to show me how to do it. Why haven't I showed up in a sari at this point on my channel? I wore my saris completely out. And I'm uncertain what happened to them once I stopped wearing them because they were frayed. I just didn't go back and purchase them because I purchased them from an Indian store where I used to live, and I haven't been back in that area for a long time. But I promised myself I'm going back, and I am going to purchase some new saris because I absolutely love them. I gravitated towards the sari, the hijab, and the various other head wraps. And I gravitated towards the African raiments. And my sister made the African dresses and tops and skirts for me. And I began to wear them to school as well. And I basically saved my African garments for African American History Month. And all February, I would regale my students with traditional African dress. And I would even wear my saris to school as well. In Clarkston, when I was teaching in that area, I began to wear the hijab. It took me to a soft, beautiful, vibrant, spiritual space. It did not take me to a space of hidden anything. It took me to a place of sanctity, and it took me to a place of inner strength and beauty, because I realized that I wasn't covering for a man or someone who said, you must hide your natural beauty, your beauty as a woman, because I want you to be beautiful for me. I did it myself, and I loved it, and my students loved it, and people in my life began to accept me and my beauty and the wearing of the hijab just as easily as breathing. When I began to wear the hijab, I spoke with some of my friends about it. And one of my beloved friends said that as a Muslim in this country, following Minister Farrakhan, they were encouraged to not go under the hijab to hide their beauty. They were encouraged to be beautiful, just like Allah made them. My friend wore gorgeous head wraps, beautiful, beautiful head wraps. And I would study her and try and emulate her as well. So I had long pieces of cloth that I would try and create these gorgeous head wraps. I love the way Peak Neal here on YouTube wears her head wrap with the spiraled up piece that goes and like a crown at the top. I love the way other YouTubers do that. I'm still studying that. I need to return to purchase more scarves and pieces of material to practice because I fell out of learning how to wrap and cover and wear the hijab when I left the Clarkston area. Same as when I fell off with the saris. But things that you love have a way of coming back around to find you no matter where you are. These bracelets came from the Indian store in Clarkston, one of the Indian stores that I used to frequent to buy my saris. And I loved these bangles that came, that were seen in the store hanging up various ways, and I would wear them whenever I wore a sari. They were beautiful to me. Just like when I got up today and thought about my own story with head wraps, wrappings, and the hijab, I thought, well, let me come and tell how I came to the hijab. Now, this morning when I got up and donned this head wrap, I was thinking in terms of protecting my hair and covering for that and still wanting to do a video. And I had already written that I was in my YouTube plan book that I was going to tell my hijab story. No, I'm not a Muslim. I am Baptist by religion, by family birth. I was born into a Baptist family. But I have learned that I am spiritual, that I embrace the power of the universe, the spirit in the universe that has all of us, no matter what name we call that power, whether it be Spirit, Allah, Jesus, God, Buddha, whatever, Yahweh, whatever the name is, Ra, whatever the name is, I am open to the love and the energy that flows in the universe that binds us one to another, you to me and me to you. And in that way of thinking, in that vein, I would say I am love. I practice the religion of spirit and love and universal love. So yes, I will be showing up in the various ways that I am moved to be me on this channel in Claudia's universe, where everything that I bring to you in my universe, from my beauty tutorials, my hair tutorials, my wig tutorials, my story times, my fitness journey, my sense of fashion, my writing, my dancing, all of it, I will show up uncensored wherever I am in that journey in Claudia's universe and bring everything to the stage to share with you. Thank you so much for being with me for this video. And I hope I didn't go off rambling here and there too much, but I had to bring it to you. the way that I was feeling it. So I will give you a poem that I wrote in 2005 about the women in my community, head wraps, the hijab, loving myself and other women, loving humanity. I will give it to you in a voiceover. Blood ties. Under fluttering, colorful hijabs, you stare out of faces that mirror mine. High foreheads, dark skins, wide mouths, your nappy, sometimes wavy hair, African beauty, quietly queenly, tying us to the continent. When I cover, we are birds of paradise, on parade, draped in flowing veils and flashing scarves and loud body wraps, our faces reminiscent of people in lands across the sea and the street. Unveiled, I greet your curiosity at my head, uncovered, wild, locked, and unrelentingly free. Yesterday, I wondered about the veil you wore, like invisible queens, demure in your sovereignty amongst this urban plurality. Were you destined to be a shawled outline of second-class citizenry, your steps reticent, serene, afraid to be openly heard, a public anomaly, a glitch in sexuality? Today, I know not intuitively, and I emulate you. Perhaps your unassuming royalty invites me to don the hijab, under which I'm connected by face, blood, peace, grace, and rain. Our blood ties bind us in a cornucopia of ways I have not yet begun to contemplate. The Siren.